All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're asking a massive question. What if our entire approach to crime and punishment is, well, fundamentally wrong? What if we're constantly fighting the smoke while completely ignoring the fire? Let's get into why we're so focused on that smoke and what it really takes to find the source of the blaze.
You know, this quote right here is the key to our entire conversation today. It flips the script completely. It says that an act of violence isn't where the story starts, but where it ends. It's the final, awful result of a long, slow burn process that we've been totally blind to. And that's the core idea we're going to unpack.
So how do we get this so backward? Well, the source material gives us this brilliant analogy. Just imagine a doctor who sees a really nasty rash, but instead of trying to figure out what's causing it, an allergy, maybe an infection, they just hand you some cream to cover it up. The argument is that our society does exactly the same thing with crime. And this just lays it out perfectly, doesn't it? On one side, you have the symptom everyone sees, the rash, or in this case, the crime. It's ugly, it's scary, and it grabs all the attention. But on the other side, you've got the actual disease, the hidden infection, the real root cause. And by focusing only on the symptom, we just let the disease get worse and worse. This brings us to our first big point. We see the violent act, we see the wound, and we react. Of course we do. But we almost never stop and ask, wait a minute, what infection caused this wound in the first place? We just rush to slap a bandage on it, but the infection, it's still there, festering underneath. I mean, we can all relate to this, right? We've all popped a painkiller for a headache just to get through the day, knowing deep down we're not actually dealing with the stress or the dehydration or whatever is causing it. It is the ultimate quick fix, and it solves absolutely nothing in the long run. And that's the argument here, in a nutshell. When we react to a crime with pure outrage and calls for more punishment, we're basically just taking moral paracetamol. It makes us feel like we're doing something, right? It eases that social pain for a moment, but it does absolutely nothing to stop the next headache, the next crime, from coming. Okay, so if our current approach is just treating a symptom, then what is the actual disease? What are those hidden conditions in our society that let crime and violence grow, almost like bacteria in a petri dish?
The source material points to some really potent infections. You've got enormous economic inequality, which can just breed hopelessness and desperation. You've got the constant suppression of emotional expression, which leaves people with no healthy outlet for their frustration or their pain. Now you combine that with widespread humiliation, trauma, and this deep, deep sense of powerlessness, and you basically create a kind of societal pressure cooker. When all of that stuff is boiling together, violence can become the almost inevitable final explosion from all that unbearable pressure.
So this leads us to a really crucial point. If the problem is baked into the system, why does our main solution, punishment, fail so often? The answer is simple, but it's also pretty profound. We're punishing the reflection in the mirror instead of actually looking at the face staring back at us. I mean, just think about this image for a second. It's so powerful because it's so obviously pointless. You can slap a bandage on a volcano, sure, but it's not going to stop the eruption. It doesn't even begin to address the immense pressure building up deep beneath the surface. And in this view, our justice system is just applying bandages while the tectonic plates of society keep grinding against each other. So, we have to fundamentally change the questions we're asking. Our entire system is built around this one single question. It's all about finding an individual to blame, to point at, to punish. But what if that's the wrong question entirely? This is the big shift. This is the diagnostic question that the careless doctor never, ever asks. It moves the focus away from the individual actor and onto the environment, the systems, the culture, the pressures that shaped them. It is a much, much harder question to answer, for sure, but it might be the only one that can lead to a real cure. Which brings us to the final part of this explainer. If punishment is just a painkiller, and our diagnosis points to a deep societal disease, then what's the actual prescription? How do we even begin to heal the foundations? So what's the cure? Well, according to the source material, it's all about building a fundamentally healthier society from the ground up. This means fostering emotional freedom, so people can actually process pain and anger in a constructive way instead of just bottling it all up. It means providing authentic education that encourages real curiosity and empathy, not just memorizing facts for a test. And it's about ensuring mental clarity, helping people see past all the rigid, divisive thinking that so often fuels conflict. These are like the powerful antibiotics for society's infection. So here's the bottom line. Without doing this deeper work, our entire justice system becomes,
Well, a performance. It's this big drama of good versus evil that gives us the illusion of safety and control. But at the end of the day, it's just that, an illusion. It's theater, designed to make us feel better while the real problems just keep growing backstage.
And we'll end on this final, pretty sobering thought. If we keep just treating the symptoms, that pressure is going to keep building. That volcano will erupt again. And the most tragic part? We'll stand there, looking at the devastation, and we'll pretend to be shocked, never once admitting that the next eruption wasn't just predictable, it was guaranteed.